Hi everyone. So today I'm going to show you Book Creator. Book Creator is an app that allows you to create your own EPUB books. We have another app that we use called Creative Book Builder to make EPUB books. Book Creator is kind of a more simple way to make an EPUB book. So it doesn't have as many of the options as Creative Book Builder, like quiz questions and things like that. But Book Creator, if you want to have text, images, drawings, sound, Book Creator is one that you can use. We have a lot of teachers that start by using Book Creator with students, and then once they have really utilized all those tools, then they move to Creative Book Builder as an option. But what this app allows you to do then is to create those type of electronic books that could be put in iBooks. So we've had some teachers that have their students create books in Book Creator and then share them in Google Classroom. And then from there, the teacher then can share it with all the students in class. So essentially, you can have your iBooks library be filled with books from your peers. And so that is a really fun way to go, a way for really students to have an authentic audience and purpose for their writing and their publishing. So we're going to start by tapping on Book Creator, which is that rainbow colored with the book app. And one of the things I really recommend is utilizing this Getting Started book. It's a short tutorial. It has you try the different tools that are in Book Creator so you can look at what's possible. So I'm just going to actually, though, start a new book. So if you see at the bottom of the screen the plus, so I'm going to tap plus. And I am going to tap new book, but you can also do things like duplicate, import, move it to bookshelf, but I'm just going to tap new book. And you have 6 options. The first 3 are to make just different types of books. So portrait, square, or landscape. So depending on what kind of book you want, you'd use one of those 3 choices. You also have comic book choices to create comic books. Again, in portrait, square, and landscape. So I'm not going to show you a lot around the comic book part. I'm going to show you more around the regular book part. So I am just going to choose portrait for right now, but all of them work really well. So you start with the cover, and really what I really like about Book Creator is you have the plus, the eye, and then the square with the arrow. So I'm going to start by showing you the eye, and I means for information. So in this case, because we're on the cover and because I don't have anything on there yet, I can choose the page color just by tapping on page color. So you see that there are some different colors here. There's different papers, and then you see recent colors. And the reason the recent colors aren't the same as the colors on the top is if I tap more, then I can choose my color. So I can just move my finger around and that changes the color. I can also go to the bottom and slide the brightness, and you see that it gets darker as I get closer to the black, lighter as I get closer to the lighter part of the blue. So you can really decide your color and then tap apply, and you notice that becomes the book color. So again, you just tap on page color, then you can decide what color. It'll put your recents down at the bottom, which is nice, especially if you're working on a book and you want all the pages the same color, then you can use the recents below. Other things you can do is if you have a soundtrack, you can enable that. You can turn on and off if you want to show guides, snap to grid, things like that. Share screenshot. It just gives you a bunch of options, but the main one there is page color. Now the plus allows me to do different things. So you see by tapping on there, I can import photos from my Photos app, my camera roll. I can take a picture with the camera. I can draw with the pen. I can add text by typing, and then I can add sounds. I can also go to shapes, and now I have different shapes that I can use. So you see all of those there, including speech bubbles and lines. So I'm going to start by adding text. And so this will pop up and you type it in. So I'm going to title this Some of My Favorite Apps. going to do, actually, I'm going to change it to just favorite apps. And I'm going to say done. And you notice it just starts as just really plain text. So what I'm going to do now, because the box is around it, if I tap the I, now I can do things with that text. So you notice first on the top you see text and page. Page is if you want to do something with that background color like we did before, but text is doing something with that specific text. So if I want to make it bigger or the text bigger, I can use the slide to do that. Sometimes I find that challenging because it'll get really big really fast. So you can also tap on the large A to make it go larger step by step. The small A to make it go smaller. I can bold it or italicize or underline it. I can change the font if I tap on font. So let's say that I wanted to make it the Play Flare display. I can change the color. So if I wanted it to be white, I could do that. I can change the background, which means I can put a box around it. So let's say that I wanted to make it gray, maybe more green. There we go. So then that makes that box have a color. I can also shadow it. So you notice when I turn that on, you saw a little bit of a shadow behind the letters. I can also make it aligned centered or align right or align justify or align left. I can also move it from back to front, kind of layering it. Once you're done with what you want to do, realize that you can also play around with it this way by really dragging on those dots at the edges. And then there, I have it just like that. Now, the thing to remember is that you will have whatever you did here is going to happen to the next text. So I'll show you how that works. So if I do add text again and I put by Mrs. Hewling and go done, you notice it has the same formatting. So whatever you did the last time is what's going to happen this time. And again, I can just go ahead and change it by maybe this time I want it a little smaller. I don't want the background color, so I'm going to tap none there. And I am going to take off the shadow. And so I can go ahead and do that. Then I'm going to tap the plus and I'm going to tap photos. And I am going to go look in here and I'm going to grab this photo. And so you see that photo of apps. And I can go I, and again, I can do some things here, again with the image and with the page if I want to. So always remember that. The other thing too is if I want to delete it, I can always tap delete at the bottom. So if I wanted to delete that one, I could do that. So those are just a couple of them. To move to the next page, you tap that arrow on the right side, and you'll notice now that there's arrows on the right and the left side. And that continues as I go to the next page. Now you notice here now it's changed from an arrow on the left side to a plus on the right side, and that is because now I can add pages that way by tapping on the plus. So you can add as many pages as you would like. So now I'm going to just show you a couple more things. The camera, you just take a picture like any camera. The pen is to draw. So once I tap on that, I can change the color that I would like it to be. So maybe I want it to be red. I can change the thickness of the pen. Okay. And then what I could do is I could just go collab. And I've seen students use a stylus and draw pictures and make it a picture book, different things like that. So you're not stuck to just doing this. You also have the eraser, so if you want to erase things, you can do that. The one thing to remember is once you tap done, that becomes an image. So you can't tap done and then go back and fix one little thing in there. Once you tap done, now it's an image, and I can move it around. I can make it bigger and smaller, things like that. I can also tap the I, and I can move it back to front, things like that. If I want to change the page colors, I can do that by changing the left page and the right page. So I might go left page that, right page green, I could do that. things like that. So you have lots of different options. I would probably now change the page color on that side because I don't like that with the blue and the red. It was kind of contrasting. So that is how that works, the pen part. So you can just play around with that. And then the sound is really being able to add sound. So I'm going to first add an image because I have one of Colab, and I want to have that on this page. And now let's say that I want to record some sound about what I like about Colab apps. So I'm going to tap Add Sound and then start recording. One of my favorite features on the iPad is the Colab or Google Apps for Education apps. I like the fact that they talk to each other and that I can connect them from Google Classroom and Drive and Docs. Everything is connected. So that's why I really like the Colab apps. And then it asks you if you want to keep it. So then I say yes. And now you see that little sound part, and then that becomes part of your book. So I'm just going to move it up here, and that becomes part of your book. So when you publish it, somebody could tap on that and then listen to it. And a lot of students have done this. They've typed text on the page, and then they've read it, so it's like an audiobook. So I just showed you a quick way to do it, but I would really have students take that text that they typed and then read it, so then it becomes that audiobook for them. So you can continue with this. You can continue making pages. What I'm going to just show you is how you can export. So if I tap the square with the arrow, that would export this book, and then I could export it into things like Google Classroom, Google Drive. I can put it into iBooks, things like that. So that part's really nice. The other part I'm going to show you, if I tap on My Books, is I wanted to show you that you can also change the title, because right now it's titled A New Book by A.N. Author. So I'm going to tap the I there. Then I could change it to Favorite Apps by Mrs. Hewling. So then I have it like that. Here I can also tap the square with the arrow, and then you have some options here. I can export it as an EPUB, a PDF, or a video. If you want it in iBooks, you'd export it as an EPUB, and then that same thing pops up. So that was just a really brief overview of Book Creator. There's more resources on the website, but I just wanted to show you how it works and how you might be able to use it. Thanks.